Good morning, everybody. Today is July 23rd. It is 9 a.m. And this is the Splinterlands AMA. I'm stoked to be here. This is the voice of Aggroed. I'm one of the founders of Splinterlands. And joining me is Matt. Matt, do you want to say hi to everybody?
Hey, good morning, everybody.
So this is the week before all the big things happen, right? This is the week before Splinter Shards get launched, and we start trading, and you guys start this airdrop experience, and everything goes nuts. It's already been going nuts. I mean, every single metric that I'm tracking is going up and to the right. I think my favorite one being it took us 3 years and a month to get to 100,000 registered accounts, and now we're up to 130,000. So it took us less than a month to grow 30%. I mean, if that keeps up, things are going crazy. So there's one metric that I want to share that I'm like, that one is totally freaking amazing. That's the one I'm going with. So Matt, anything you want to share as we kind of kick this off and start answering some player questions from today?
I think you pretty much covered it. I'm just doing everything I can to make sure everything goes smoothly for the SPS launch. There's going to be a lot happening. Obviously, the airdrop is big. The launch on some exchanges like the Pancake Swap liquidity pool, and then within the next week, some of the reward pools are going to start going live. At kind of the same time, I hope everyone knows that we're testing out guild brawls, on the QA server. And I'll just shout out to the Peak Monsters Premier Guild members. I upgraded our guild, on the QA server, so please hop in there for the brawl. So there's just a ton of stuff happening, obviously, and it's gonna be a big week next week. But I think ultimately it's gonna be set up for kind of the rest of the next year and beyond.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, I'm gonna go scroll up. We already had some questions in here. I think that they start 718. That still counts. I think that's as far back as I'm going. So there's a couple questions back here. This is Sinistry. It's 718.
We're going back far.
Yeah, it's not that far scrolling, but Sinistry 718. Down the line, what are the odds of getting clans that overlay guilds to further entwine the budding communities? I'm not sure what the difference between a clan is and a guild. So
he goes more in detail into that later.
Not versus guilds.
I'd say at this point, overall though, I mean, we're doing a major update to guilds with guild brawls. When land comes out, there's going to be integration between lands and guilds. So, I wouldn't look for any new type of guild stuff other than land integration for a while.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Sean Sporter's asking, is the mass market of mobile gamers ready for adoption? Is now a good time to formulate onboarding marketing plans? Yeah, I mean, so literally, I've been trying to go find somebody that I think can help us with marketing and has more experience than Matt and I. I think I found a good candidate, and so we'll see where that goes. Nothing to report yet, but I definitely think that there's a giant mass market of gamers and normal people and crypto folks, and even though we're growing at 30% in this last month, I still think there's just tons of room for growth for us. Hearthstone has 3.5 million active players per day. We're hitting 10,000 accounts per day, so there's plenty of room for us to grow. General Dark Chief is asking, if we purchase Dark Energy crystals after the release of the SPS airdrop, will they be taken into account for airdrop, or is the final SPS calculation stop when the SPS airdrop starts? Hope it's clear. You want to give a high level?
It looks like Brybro also answered it in the chat, but I'll say it also for the AMA and the recording. The airdrop is going to take place over a year. and there's going to be a snapshot every day over that year. So you can get assets at any point in time, and they'll count, each day going forward. Similarly, if you sell or transfer assets out of your account, then at every snapshot going forward, you'll have less airdrop points. So yeah, you don't have to get everything in before the first day starts.
So why did we do it this way? Do you want to share any kind of thought behind that? Why didn't a lot of airdrops are just like, here's an airdrop and then that's it. Like why did we choose to do a year instead of just one day?
Yeah, I mean, so I've been involved and participated in a number of airdrops, and typically there's a big pump of whatever token is being used for the airdrop. Like Leo Finance had an airdrop for their Cub token, for example, and there was a big pump up to the Leo token before the airdrop snapshot date, and then right after the snapshot there's usually a big dump because everyone got the token just for the airdrop. The snapshot's done, so they just all dump the token, and we didn't want that to happen for Splinterlands assets. Not because we're not trying to have people sell or anything, but just I don't know, that could be a big mess of the marketplace with that. So we just thought, and also we obviously want to reward our existing players who have been around for a long time, but we also want to still incentivize new players who may join at some point over the next year to want to purchase assets and be able to take part in the airdrop, even if it's only for the last few months or whatever it is. So we just felt this was a much better way to make things more equitable overall for players, not have a big market disruption just for one big airdrop day. And I think overall, it's just a much better way to handle something like this. I mean, token distribution, especially for a governance token, is incredibly important. You don't want a small group of people having the vast majority of tokens. So it's just all factors into how we want it to be more fair and better distributed by doing it over the course of the year. And it'll give you guys and players more time to make decisions, right? Obviously we don't know what the market pricing or things are going to be with SPF and new things that come out of the game over the course of the year. So instead of having to decide all of that and kind of speculate on the future right now for one airdrop date, everyone can take their time and figure out what they want to do over the course of the year.
Sweet. All right, moving on down. Question revised. He's talking clans again. I'm going to pass on the clans question for the moment. Is there initial airdrop point total snapshot available? This is from Chance the Guy at 1010.
Yeah, I'm actually hoping to get the SPS stuff live on the site today, later today after the AMA. So you'll be able to see the SPS balances, which will be 0 for everyone, but we'll see where it will go. And then you'll be able to see the airdrop points that you have, leading up to the first day of the airdrop and all that stuff. It'll also help us just test that everything's kind of working in the live environment before it actually launches. But the number from the snapshots, the test snapshots that we've taken, is just under 6 billion. So it's like 5.93 billion airdrop points. So pretty close to the estimates I think we've been talking about.
Question. Through the DAO, or the Centralized Autonomous Organization, if there were enough votes, could a profit share be implemented for SPS token holders? For instance, could enough votes make a change to redirect a portion of the 5% market fees to SPS holders, or create additional percent charges that would be distributed to holders?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the whole thing about DAOs is, you control not only what happens, but any funds that the DAO has are controlled by the DAO holders through the voting mechanism. You vote to use funds to incentivize a new liquidity pool. You could vote to use funds to go speculate on some other token if you want, or even buy assets in the Splinterlands game and rent them or stake them or whatever you can do with them. Or you can vote to just distribute them out to token holders. I mean, it's really, I look at it, it's really like a company. a regular company with shares and shareholders, and companies have to decide if they have extra money, do they want to reinvest that money in the business if they think they can earn a good return on it, or do they want to return that money to investors?
Well,
So these are all.
some of this still comes back to me of like, is the market fee part of the Splinterlands business? Is it part of the DAO? Is the revenue generated from token sales, does that go to the Splinterlands business? Does that go to the DAO? And some of that stuff, we're pretty open to making sure that the community is getting giant chunks of this. We want to make sure that we can still operate our business and grow and help grow the game. But there's some lines here where we are a major stakeholder in this ecosystem, but we're certainly not the only one. And I think some of that still needs to be ironed out, and some of it will be ironed out with the community.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So currently, obviously sales and market fees from the Splinterlands website market go to the Splinterlands company. Over time, a lot of that stuff will transition over to the DAO, and then it will be controlled by the DAO token holders. But even before that, the DAO has a pool of funds of SPS tokens that are available for it to use, and those funds can be staked in liquidity pools. Those funds can be staked in Splinterlands, and to earn additional returns and additional funds that for the DAO to use for other purposes. I think there's going to be a lot of different earnings pools available.
Legendary Canary is asking, any insight into how much SPS will we need to held or stake to be able to buy X number of Chaos Legion packs? So I just want to frame this, that we said in order to go participate in the pre-sale of the Chaos Legion packs, you're going to have the SPS tokens staked. And he's asking, what's the ratio of staked SPS to number of Chaos Legion packs that you can purchase?
Yeah, so unfortunately we don't have that yet because we haven't created the economy for Chaos Legion. So you guys will have to make decisions early on with SPS over what you want to stake and what you don't. Kind of just speculating and guessing on that. Obviously, as soon as we have the economy and the pre-sale design ready for Chaos Legion, we will publish that and let everybody know. But in the meantime, it'll be up to players to decide how much they want to stake. But also, you can, if you want, you can just wait until it's announced. It's instant to stake tokens, so you won't have to have any staked like before the announcement or anything. So if you don't want to lock up any more tokens than you have to. You can wait till the announcement. On the flip side of that, the staking rewards pool is planned to launch a week from Monday, so a week after the SPS token launch. So, if you do stake tokens before then, you will be earning additional SPS tokens in the meantime.
This is Fantasy Crypto at 1:25 a.m. Will Splinter Shards be able to be rented to others for their own use? For example, if somebody wanted to borrow X amount of SPS that they could stake on others for a set rental fee. And question 2, will there be any rewards up for the Splinter Shards liquidity pools upon launching?
For the first question, I don't think we have plans to be able to rent staked SPS out. There are plans to be able to delegate staked SPS. That was more for governance voting, but I guess that could potentially be also used for earning rewards. So I guess those are some things we'll still need to think through after the initial SPS implementation is released, and maybe start to add more features.
Yeah, I definitely see delegating SPS and SPS delegation rentals, and that's all going to be part of that ecosystem. When it happens, I don't know, and if it happens directly through the site, I don't know. But that's 100% going to be happening. That's just the nature of all this. And then what about liquidity pools, SPS liquidity pools? When do you think that the liquidity pool rewards will start kicking in?
So there's two different types of liquidity pool rewards. There's SPS token rewards, and there's a good chunk reserved for incentivizing liquidity providers. I don't have a date for when that will go live, But that shouldn't be too difficult, and we'll try to get that out and announce the details when that's ready. Aside from that, there's also the potential for other platforms like CubDeFi as an example to offer rewards in their token for people who stake SPF tokens in liquidity pools. And we are hoping, but can't guarantee, that we will announce something like that with a third party platform in the very near future.
Alrighty. Moriarty 95, and also welcome to the top 10 list, Moriarty. In a previous AMA, you said assets that are held on Wax or Hive Engine also count towards the SPS airdrop. Will those SPS be claimed manually? Because in theory, a Wax address can be linked to more than one account.
Yeah, so those will be claimed manually, but it doesn't matter, what account the Wax address is linked to. Like you said, anyone can link a Wax address to their account. Like, someone can link someone else's Wax address to their account. It doesn't mean they have control over that account or can claim funds. So for Wax addresses in particular, the method that you're going to have to use to claim your SPF tokens from things held in a Wax wallet is you're going to have to basically send a 0.00001 Wax transaction to the Splinterlands account with the appropriate memo to claim your token. For other platforms, you'll just have to sign a message, so it won't involve an actual transfer. But the Wax Cloud wallet that most people use, for some reason, does not have a sign message function, so it will require a transfer. So the point is, it doesn't matter if you have a Wax wallet linked to any accounts or 100 accounts or anything. You'll just, you'll make that transfer, and in the memo, it'll include the account that you want, the SPS, the Splinterlands account you want the SPS token to go to, and that will claim your rewards.
I'm seeing DEC rising substantially. We're at 2,660 Splintoshis right now, just for anybody that's tracking. It's a little crazy to watch that go well above the 1,000 Splintoshi peg.
Yeah, and not only is it worth more, which is good for holders, but that also means that there are more rewards being automatically given out to players for battling ranked battles. So kind of like a win-win for players who are actively playing Splinterlands. Over time, my expectation is that the DPC price will end up coming back down to close to the peg area, especially over time as the excitement for the airdrops subsides and kind of get further into it. But it's certainly not. Some people ask me if we would be worried if it goes up a good bit, and we're not worried. Like I said, it's good for everyone, but ultimately the goal for the token is for it to be fairly stably priced, and I look at this as kind of an outlier event, the FPF airdrop. But there are mechanics in place that over time should slowly, bring the market price back down.
Yeah, and maybe Chaos Legion and Burning will bring that back down. Although that's still August, September. I think we're doing a pre-sale in September, so sometime after September we'll likely have Chaos Legion available then. So it's going to be a couple months. So who knows? We haven't really experienced something like this before, so I don't have a lot of information in terms of where that'll go. But I'm just reporting. Not that I can't tell you where it'll go. I'm just reporting. It's fascinating to watch this on Hive Engine and see that it's at 2,660 Splintoshis. All right, I see a question from Stimp 1024. This is at 5:54 a.m. Will Gladiator cards be able to be used on land? And Moriarty 95 asks the follow question: will they have benefits compared to other regular cards if you're using Gladiators?
So I don't know yet, because Gladiator cards hadn't really been thought up when we were initially thinking about land. So I think generally, off the top of my head right now, it would be good, and I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be able to be used on land. I don't know whether or not they'll provide special benefits, But that once we get down to like all the exact economy design of land and the numbers, that we'll have to factor that in.
Homestead Hacker is asking, with the dark energy crystal value soaring, I'm having some fear, uncertainty, and doubt about farming the Cub Finance DEC BUSD liquidity pool. It would help to know if for sure for SBS airdrop rewards, will dark energy crystals in that liquidity pool count at the 2x times the current daily amount of dark energy crystals in the liquidity pool, or at 2 times the dark energy crystal initially deposited in the liquidity pool, or half the total amount of both pairs staked in the LP. So it just sounds like he's asking the technical question of like, how will you calculate the value of the dark energy crystal in the liquidity pool?
Yeah, so the liquidity pool, airdrop points are 2 times the current amount of dark energy crystals that you have in the pool. So you are right that as the price goes up, the amount of dark energy crystals you have in the pool decreases, which will decrease your airdrop points from that. So that is, I agree that that's somewhat of an unfortunate side effect of what's going on. But on the flip side, in dollar terms, your value should be going up, and you're also, you've been earning the Cub rewards this whole time. So, we're not, that's how it works. We're definitely way past the point where we can change that with the airdrop launching in just a few days. So, you need to just factor that into your decisions.
No Tech S. I have noticed the dark energy crystal available for winning matches increased a bit lately. Have you increased the dark energy crystal inflation to try to bring the price down? Well, that thing is it's designed as an algorithmic stablecoin. So when the price goes up, the amount that we print goes up. So like if we're at 2,660 Splintoshis, we're printing, actually we're up to 2,870 now. So let's just do some easy math. We're at 3,000 Splintoshis. We're going to print 3,000, or we're going to print 3 times the normal amount. And so, there's some pressure to bring it back down. Whether or not it brings it back down, who knows? Because you don't know what the demand will be. But we are printing more, and that's why you're seeing more in your wins and your rewards. It is certainly higher than normal.
Yeah, just to be clear, we announced, I think a couple months ago, that change, or maybe less, but we announced a change on our blog where the amount of rewards for the ranked battle reward pool will adjust automatically based on the market price of dark energy crystals, which is the somewhat common mechanic for a lot of algorithmic stablecoins. So right now we're up to about 2 million dark energy crystals in the ranked battle reward pool, which is double the normal rate. So again, like I said, due to the increasing demand for dark energy crystals, there's increased benefits for players.
All right, so I'm skipping down a bit. This is at 8:57 a.m. from King Snorky. Question: is the dark energy crystals received when selling a card in game return dark energy crystal at the current market rate, or is it pegged at 0.001? Market transactions. Do we use a rate?
No, market transactions use the current market rate. The peg is only used for when Splinterlands is selling things, right? And we will take, for a long time, dark energy crystals were trading, well below the $1,000 to $1 amount. And so basically Splinterlands was, taking the hit on that in order that provides sort of the downside protection, I guess, and the dark energy crystal price is, that we will always accept it at that rate. But as far as market transactions, which are peer-to-peer, it uses the market rate. There was also a question above that.
Oh yeah, any chance you'll have another person conference party? PA is nice in the fall. Yeah, we should go get another big meetup.
Yeah, I'd love to do that, especially now that we can start doing that again, before they start locking things down again, variants or whatever.
Yeah. All right, we'll put that on the radar. That's a good one. All right, Jens has like a whole bunch of questions here. Do you intend to increase this inflation rate, change the algorithm to be more aggressive because of the recent price surge, or do you change the peg to a higher dollar value? I think it would be fair to find a new higher peg is to not screw over all the new investors. What percent of the battle SPS rewards goes to the player? Will you reset everyone's capture rate before Splinter Shards battle rewards launches, just so that everyone starts on a level playing field? Question, at what price point does SPS launch, and how much liquidity will there be on Pancake Swap initially? So back to one. Will we increase the inflation rate? There's no plans for us to do that, right? We're pretty happy with the way that the stablecoin algorithm is built.
Yeah, I also don't think increasing the inflation rate is going to really do anything right now, because I think what's happening is that players are hodling, popular term. So even if more are being given out through the ranked battle rewards, most people aren't selling them at this point. So just increasing the inflation rate shouldn't have a downward effect on the price right now. And could potentially have an increased downward effect on the price later on, as the airdrop goes by and as demand for dark energy crystals potentially lessens. So I don't think that would be a good idea to do. And also changing the peg that we accept dark energy crystals at. Also, these things typically after a boom, there comes a bust. And again, I can't predict anything about what will happen or if that will happen, but we just, from a game design standpoint, we need to be prepared for that to happen. And if we made the peg higher, again, like I said, we're the ones who accept dark energy crystals at the peg rate for purchases. If there is a bust down to significantly lower, then it really just hurts us much more in long run. So, again, people need to take that into account when they purchase dark energy crystals. The way that it works and the inflation mechanics and price mechanics, and they need to make their own judgment. We can't control market prices, or if people buy in at a certain price. We can't control if the market price ends up going down more than that. And the best thing I think we can do is just not change anything, because that way people can look at how it works and make their own decisions. And if later things start to change, it messes up everyone who made decisions based on the old data, which is ultimately like one of the strongest selling points of something like Bitcoin, is that it doesn't change versus other cryptos, which makes it a much safer investment, I think, for a lot of people. And ultimately down the road, this is going to end up being turned over to the DAO for voting, not just things that we decide.
Yeah, market gets to do market stuff. All right, what percent of the battle SPS rewards goes to the player? So I'm seeing we're going to be in the white paper. We're doing 300 million. We're doing 900 million tokens to the players through play to earn. That's 30%. They're issued over 65 months. How does that go, or what percent of the battle SPS rewards go to the player? I guess that answer is like 100%, right?
Well, okay, yeah. So there's two reward pools. There's a ranked battles reward pool, and there's SPS staking rewards. So the ranked battle rewards pool will all go to the player, but it's based on the amount of SPS they have staked on them. And again, this is when that whole the whole feature of staking SPS on players is implemented. So initially, we're just going to start, very simple. The ranked battle rewards will just go to the players directly, just like dark energy crystal rewards. In the future, hopefully not too distant future, people will be able to stake their SPS tokens on specific players, and then the people staking the SPS tokens will earn from the SPS staking rewards pool, and the players will earn from the ranked battle rewards pool. But the ranked battle rewards pool will always go to the player, the full amount.
Are we going to reset everyone's capture rate before the SPS battle rewards launches?
No, the capture rates aren't going to be reset, so
plan accordingly.
Yeah, plan accordingly.
At what price point does SPS launch, and how much liquidity will there be on Pancake Swap initially?
I don't think we can say exactly. It will be initially launched at somewhat higher than the pre-sale price, which was 1.8 cents per token. Probably not too much higher though, and as far as Pancake Swap liquidity, I mean, a few $100,000 is my guess for like initial liquidity, but we hope that some liquidity provider incentives that we expect to be released will help increase that even
Will there be a PvE mode in the future, something like Slay the Spire? I think the short answer is yes, and then the question is, how far off in the future is that? And that's pretty difficult to tell with the aggressive roadmap that we have. But we do. I do want to see at least one PvE thing go live before the end of the year. Is that a fair target? You think?
It's a goal. I think that we can try to attain. I can't say if it will happen. I mean, we have a lot of stuff on the roadmap for this year, but definitely boss battles have always been something we really want to do, and especially with the land release, we want to get that all incorporated.
All right, I'm scrolling down to 9:03 a.m. Sofa is asking, can we have some examples of what items do for us in matches? And so one of the things that I imagine is that like an item could be like a weapon. So you get to give your monster a magic sword. And it could be something as simple as, +1 to the melee attack. It could be +1 melee attack to creatures that have flying. It could be +1 melee attack to creatures from the red element. It could be, there's lots of different like tweaks on that. But, examples of that, you have stats and health and armor. Abilities. It could give you. It could be like a ring of thorns, and now you can apply an item that gives your tank thorns. Any other thoughts of what you would want to add for what an item might do, Matt?
I mean, yeah. Rather than more specific examples, I mean, really could be anything. So it's some type of item that gets equipped on a monster that affects the battle in some way, changes its stats, gives them new ability. Or anything. I mean, they could get complicated where they increase some stats and decrease other stats, or various different things like that, or even new types of abilities or mechanics that haven't been released or thought up yet. So that's really going to change the whole game, in my opinion, for the better, in the sense that you'll have to review the battlefield, your opponent's team and your team, and figure out what items make the best sense to equip within the mana cap for items.
Dreamwriter saying, will SBS tokens get game revenue like 10 to 20% of game-related income via pack sales? Is game-related money flow something we'll be able to vote on? Can we get a list of any areas that you deem off-limits for SBS voting?
Well, yeah, so I don't think there are any areas that are off-limits, but it doesn't mean that anything that gets voted. There's going to be a bunch of things built into the game where the SPS voting will control that directly, and we listed a bunch of them in the white paper. For anything that's not like automatically built in, that would be something where the community is basically asking through their voting for us to do or implement, and then we'll have to take that as we can. Over time, I would like we kind of talked about a little earlier, for a lot of in-game revenue streams, whether it's market fees and different things, to slowly transition over to the SPS DAO to be directly controlled by the SPS token holders, without our input or say so. But that's not something we can just like right off the bat switch everything over and everything will be fine. It's sort of we have to take it as it comes and just make sure that everything is set up properly so we can continue to run the business and run the game while that happens.
Adam is asking, when will specific information be released for rewards and pairings for governance, staking, and liquidity pool? Thank you for creating an awesome product. So when are we getting out released for rewards for the staking and liquidity? So I guess this is a timing question.
Yeah, so we announced in the launch announcement post that the SPS staking rewards are expected to start a week after the launch, so a week from Monday, and will kind of be a more basic system until we get the staking on players done. As far as liquidity rewards, I mean, we addressed that a little earlier, but we're going to work on implementing the SPS rewards for liquidity providers as quickly as we can, and we're also hoping that some other third-party platforms will offer additional.
Question, can you compare yourselves to Axie Infinity? What defines and makes Splinterlands different?
Well, I mean, other than being a blockchain-based game, they're similar in a lot of ways, in kind of how the battles work and that stuff. And I haven't spent a whole bunch of time playing Axie Infinity, so I think there's other players in our community who play both games more, and I think to post about it, I think they're a little better. But they are, they're different games. They work differently. They have different types of mechanics and things. So, I'd say, we're not trying to. I don't even look at it as like we're directly competing with Axie Infinity, because this ecosystem is so small right now that like there's plenty of room for everyone that's in it and much more. So, I encourage everyone to check out both games, and we also look at games like Axie and other crypto and non-crypto games, just to see what cool things they might be doing that we might be able to incorporate into Splinterlands. I especially think that once land, I know Axie has a land system also, but once our land and our items and spells in particular are released, that will be even much more differentiated from games like Axie. Especially in the way that the land allows you to create the item and spell cards, and then how that makes the battles even more skill based. I think currently.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think I want to skip that. It can be political. I don't want to get political. I think Matt's right. We have two big games that are out there. The idea that their play to earn is similar, but then there's certainly different ways that these things function. So I don't know, but I think that this is really like one of the best places in the world to be. Gaming is a hot sector. Play to earn is a hot sector, and like really trying to figure out how can we distribute tokens to gamers worldwide. I think is a giant problem to be solving. And how do we give gamers value? Because there's just so many freaking gamers out there. So it's still a bit of a dodge, but I don't know. I actually haven't even played a single match of Axie Infinity, so I'm not the best guy to answer that. Biz is asking me why is there 2 tournaments today and 1 tournament Saturday? Shouldn't there be a Golden Rule Silver? Yeah, I can look into it. Well, SPS tokens give more profits than Dark Energy Crystal owners. What factors will make SPS be desired by players? So, do you think that, can we answer which would give more profit to players, Dark Energy Crystals or SPS?
I mean, we don't know, honestly. They're going to be 2 different tokens with different uses and setups in the ecosystem, and we'll have to see what happens.
And then
as far as what factors will make them desired by players, there's obviously the main thing is the governance voting. So if you want more, say, control in those kind of decisions, then you would want to get an SPF token. And additionally, all the promotions and offers that we provide in the future, starting with the Chaos Legion presale, are going to require SPS tokens to be staked. So who wants to take part in those, maximize their rewards from those, will want SPS tokens.
AceNet is asking, in the future, are we going to be able to make money like in Axie Infinity? We've given away millions of dollars in prizes. I believe that you are able to make money like in Axie Infinity, although if you have a specific way in Axie Infinity that you can make money and you're wondering if there's a specific way that is correlated to that, feel free to ask a very specific question. But yeah, I mean, there's millions of dollars up for grabs. Will the Splinter Shards rewards for ranked battles replace Dark Energy Crystals, or are the Splinter Shards rewards on top of Dark Energy Crystal rewards? If they are on top of Dark Energy rewards, are the Dark Energy Crystal rewards decreased?
Oh, they're definitely in addition to Dark Energy Crystal rewards, and the Dark Energy Crystal rewards are not going to be released to a decrease. So, yeah, it's just all additional.
For land claiming exploration, have you thought about allowing the option for a fixed or minimum distribution? Some players feel like they are unlucky with booster openings, and we saw with the Untamed and Dice airdrops, Some people prefer a fixed minimum distribution. For groups and guilds who bought a region, it might also be preferable and more equitable if, for example, each tract had exactly one legendary plot instead of some tracks having 0 and some having 2 or more.
My instinct on this is that it would be sort of similar to the airdrops, where there would be a minimum amount that is guaranteed for, like you said, like a track might have a minimum of 1 legendary and a minimum of a certain amount of epics or something like that, but with the possibility to have more. I think that's a good balance.
No changes are made in deck rewards. That's correct. That's going on. What is the expected value of SPS? That is a financial question and one that we can't answer. But maybe there are other community members that can give you their thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, we have no expectation. You know, obviously we would like it for it to do well and increase in price, but we're going to do our best to make the best product that uses it as we can to do that. But we shared that the pre-sale price was 1.8, or the private sale price, was 1.8 cents per token, and from there on, it's going to be up to the market.
Question: any possibility that there will be a new peg for dark energy crystals at 2,000 Splintoshis, or will it go down somewhere, and this pump is just for the holding?
So we mentioned that we don't plan to change the amount, the dollar value for which we accept dark energy crystals in our in-game store.
Question: will Hive Engine play a part in the SPS and its future with Splinterlands? Yes. Speaking with my Hive Engine hat on, we will try to make as many different tokens from Splinterlands tradable, rewardable, and reason to swap your things over there as possible, and we'll continue to do so. Aoni, I don't know if that's how to pronounce it. What are your plans to make cards affordable for everyone, other than the renting system that isn't practical for all people who want to own cards? Well, this is why we launch a new edition every year. We have this.
We try to every year.
Yeah. I mean, it's not exact, but we forecast to the best of our abilities. We plan about once every year that a new set goes out, and that's like the main set. Like dice and orbs and the mini sets. That's different. Those can come and go with demand, or if we start getting some good partners that want to launch their brands into our ecosystem, something like that might be possible. And that's separate. But for the main launch, we try to do that once every year, and we want to try to keep the card packs affordable. And I think $2 per pack is pretty darn affordable. And that's one of the ways that players can come in, and that's why we're doing that whole new format, like getting in the whole extra reward pool for dark energy crystals specifically for playing in the modern format. That's to make it so that you don't have to own all of the cards. You just have to own cards in the current edition. And that way we're also not hurting anybody with the older cards. You get to make exactly as much money as you did before. You're not getting hurt by that. You get rewarded for having those. It's just that I don't know. You gotta own the modern format, and there's a league for the modern format, and presumably as SPS gets released and Chaos Legion comes out, we'll be directing a lot of the SPS rewards to the modern format and to the wild format. When lands? Do we know when?
Yeah, there's a question from Doc a little bit further down about lands timing. So it's good to talk about that. Yes, we are, we are behind our initially expected schedule for lands. We mentioned in the SPS airdrop in the white paper that we have decided that we prefer to delay lands a bit in order to get the SPS token out, because overall we think that will just be the best thing for the ecosystem. So we realize that our initial estimates on land are behind. Um, but obviously, that doesn't mean lands aren't happening. That's just part of what happens with time estimates. They are estimates. We can never guarantee anything will be out at any time. We just do our best to get it out, as quickly as possible. And if things come up to change that, we try to let everybody know and be as transparent as possible. But lands, they are going to happen. In my opinion, they are going to be awesome. But we're not going to, we're going to make sure that we get it right and do it the best way that we can, even if that takes a little longer.
Yeah. All right, what safeguards are there for SPS voting in the decentralized autonomous organization? For example, when we see the system they have in D-City, we see the people voted as president constantly raising high taxes, which affect some players but rarely affect themselves. Yeah, how do you see protections for people within the DAO?
Well, first of all, there's not going to be like a president that gets voted on and then do things. For Splinterlands, it would be, there would be proposals submitted to the DAO to do different things, each different thing. And then everyone will have the opportunity to vote for or against those proposals. So it's not just like you vote for someone who starts, controlling stuff to their own benefit. And as far as, but overall, I would just say in general, it's going to be a new thing. We're going to look at existing DAOs and, governance systems to see what seems to work best and put out the best initial design that we can. And then if there are problems that come up, there'll be proposals to potentially update the system and how it works to try to address those problems. So, it's not going to be, it's released and that's it, and it can't change no matter, what happens. Like everything, you have to kind of take these things as they come and figure things out.
Bribero's asking, do you plan on having the Chaos Legion presale offer similar packages to that of the Kickstarter for Untamed? Or do you think it'll be more of simply buying packs for a certain price and that's it? I think we're going to keep this one a lot more simple than the Kickstarter. Kickstarter was cool and fun. It is a ton of work and probably not worth it relative to just selling packs. But
yeah, but I think it's not going to be just simply selling packs. I mean, I think we're also planning to have some benefits and bonuses for buying larger amounts in the pre-sale, right?
Yeah, there should be.
Yeah, so it's not just like you get these packs and that's it. I mean, we're probably going to have some type of like limited edition promo cards, that you can get more packs you buy, and there may be some titles or other benefits. This might not be as like chaotic and crazy as Kickstarter.
And probably not as much physical goods. I mean, you guys liked it, and that's cool. And I don't know. It's a lot of work to not necessarily add tons to the ecosystem. But we'll see. I mean, if you guys go nuts and really make a fuss, then we'll try to fit it in. But I don't know. There's a balance of, do you want us spending our time working on getting you T-shirts, or do you want us working and spending time getting you land? And there's only so many of us here. And that said, we have kept bringing on more devs and working on more people on the marketing side. But just bringing them on, it's not like, oh, look, we have a new person, now everything's solved. It's always like, got to get them on board, got to get them up and running. It always takes time to do that stuff too, which just gets back to like, we have real constrained resource limitations, and we're always, if we had like 100 people and just hired everybody for hiring everybody's sake, then there might be, more spare people to just make sure that shirts get printed. But we run a lean ship because it's hard enough to do all these things as it is, let alone adding like lots of extra people. Will there be a tag team battle in the coming days to come, 2 versus 2 or something? I could imagine other formats. That's not something that's on the immediate roadmap. Do you have any plan on listing SPS on main exchanges? Do you want to answer that one, Matt?
We would very much like for SPS to be listed on as many exchanges as possible, and but we we don't have any specific announcements for that right now, and when and if there is something to announce, we'll announce it.
After just joining 2 days ago, I'd like to speak up on the worst part of trying to get into Splinterlands, trying to buy wax. It took me 3 hours to figure it out. What's a plan moving forward to make this transition easier? You want to talk about the simplex thing again real quick?
Well, he's saying buying wax. I mean, you don't have to have any wax for Splinterlands at all. You can just go to splinterlands.com and pay, with PayPal or a whole long list of cryptocurrencies. So, yeah, maybe there was a miscommunication or something that's not clear there. But you shouldn't need to buy any cryptocurrency in order to buy things or participate in Splinterlands. And additionally, we are trying to do anything we can to make it easier for people who want to buy cryptocurrency, specifically dark energy crystals and SPF, to make that as easy as possible.
Yeah, we're almost up to 3,000 Splintoshis. I don't know, you guys are going nuts. Might be a good time to do some market activity, buy up some cards. All right, are there any plans to integrate SPS usage with land? I'm going to say yes. Do you want to give any more details than that, Matt?
No, yes is good. I mean, there's a inflation pool or reward pool specifically for the land expansion, and there will be benefits to having SPS take the land. Again, the land economy hasn't been designed yet. Can't share scale.
Question, haven't been here in a bit, just wondering about land claims, etc. Yeah, we shared that it's a little bit delayed because of SPS, but we're still working on it.
Yeah, for the land thing, look, I don't like when things are late. I want land to be out because I'm very excited about it, to use it and to play with it, So, I'm as annoyed as all of you about the fact that it's delayed, but ultimately, it's for good reasons, and I don't think a lot of the stuff that's happening in the game right now, would be happening if we didn't do what we're doing with the SPF launch, right? A lot of stuff, like if we got land out, that would be great, but it doesn't also, there's not a lot of marketing that comes with that, and it's good for our current players, but not as much for new players. And so, like, the SPF launch, it's so much more than just a governance token. I mean, with the private sale, we've gotten so many big, important people in the space involved. We've gotten so much promotion of the game and PR and like all this stuff that's it's all going to help make land that much more awesome when it is released.
Yeah.
So, I know it's not great that it's delayed to the initial time frames, and for anyone who bought land and is upset about the delay, if anyone regrets buying their land, the secondary market value on land has seemed pretty strong recently, so I don't see why, that should be a problem.
Yeah, I've seen prices at like $95 per plot. So if you're unhappy when you bought it for like $15 or less, that you can sell your plots for 5 times as much and, call it a win.
Yeah, but we are going to release land. Like I said, we're both extremely excited about it. Not from a business perspective, but from a game player perspective. And we're just trying to make it as awesome as we possibly can in the long run.
Free is asking, wouldn't the value of dark energy crystals going up being a good thing? People notice the token's doing good and they figure the game must be a success. Sort of. I mean, that thing is meant to be a stable coin. So going up and going down on a stable coin isn't necessarily great, but the system is in place. We're not going to totally drastically change everything to immediately address it. It should be working as is to go print more of it. Maybe buying pressure lives indefinitely. And if that's true, then it's going to be a hell of a year for everybody involved. And maybe the printing gets above where the demand is, and then price will start returning. We don't know. We haven't really been in this situation before. So we'll see where that goes.
I'd just say overall, there's a lot of advantages to having a currency in the game that has a relatively stable value, especially for like market trading and things like that. I mean, I know right now it's the value isn't anything but stable, but over the long run, we hope that it's relatively stable. And it just makes things a lot easier for people, especially people outside the crypto and blockchain ecosystem, which we are hoping, to get into Splinterland as much as possible. So on the flip side of that, obviously there's benefits to token values going up. Like you mentioned, initially, we hope that will be the cards and other NFTs in the game, which has just certainly been happening, which is nice to see. And then also, next week we're going to be releasing SPF, which has no intention of being, a relatively stable token. So we're hoping to kind of get the best of both worlds, to have a relatively stable token in the game that makes market trading, and pricing things easier for people, and also having tokens that have the potential for price appreciation. So that's how I look at it. And again, this is something taken from a lot of other platforms out there. Like MakerDAO is a good example. They have the DAI stablecoin token, which helps provide value to their Maker token, which is the equivalent sort of SPF. And I think that's a great model that a lot more platforms are going to start using and want to take advantage of.
All right. Will there be a centralized exchange listing for dark energy crystals? There are people who don't know how to use decentralized exchanges.
We hope that there will be, and so stay tuned for any announcements of that.
Too curious, will a player earn more Splinter Shards when the player staking goes live? I mean, I understand there will be an SPS pool for ranked play and a pool for people who stake SPS and players, but how would that benefit the player where SPS is staked on? I think this is a bit of the question of, if you're staking on a player, the player earns some and the staker earns some. And so there's a new meta to the game, which is just around staking on the right player. You want to find the player that is undervalued and performing well and stake on them, because that's some of the best ways to get a return.
It benefits the player also. So I guess the players won't earn necessarily more or less, but the amount that the player earns once people are able to stake SPS tokens on players, the amount that each player will earn will be determined by how much SPS tokens are staked on them relative to everyone else. So the breakdown will change at that point, and it will be in every player's best interest to get as much SPS tokens staked on them from themselves or other players as they can. So it won't necessarily be more or less, but it will change.
Are the number of Gladiator cards limited?
There's no limit to the total number of Gladiator cards that can be printed, and that's because they're non-transferable, so it doesn't make sense for there to be a limit. But there is a limit. You can only use currently one Gladiator card per Guild Brawl battle.
Doesn't a soulbound card type working on land incentivize moving around the land itself? I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, I don't understand that question.
With the peg moving around so much, is there some option to price things for sale in dark energy crystals? I mean, the market is priced in dark energy crystals.
Well, no. So the market is priced in the for sale market is priced in dollars, and it pays out the amount of dark energy crystals. So, that's in general. Again, as we try to cater to people who aren't necessarily familiar with cryptocurrency or blockchain, and we've generally gotten a lot of feedback from a lot of players that they prefer pricing to be in dollars, and then it pays out the amount of dark energy crystals for that dollar value at the current pricing, which I also agree is just easier for people, and they don't have to worry about, I put cards in the market for 10K dark energy crystals, and now the price went up or the price went down, so now my card's either overpriced or underpriced, and I have to go reprice all my cards. It makes it difficult. We see that with other markets. But on the flip side, there's a pretty active market on Wax, and we hope in the future there will be markets on other platforms that are priced in cryptocurrency. So we kind of prefer that, to do that there. I mean, there's never some people want one way, some people want the other way. We just try to give everyone each option, basically, as best as we can.
Little note on the Splintoshis. They're going a little nuts. It's 3,780 right now, nearly 4 times what DEC is normally trading at. You guys are animals. All right. Dave McCoy is asking, will the posting key be used to claim and stake the Splinter Shards tokens?
I believe currently the posting key is used for that, since it's not transferring them out of your account, which would need the active key. So just being able to claim and stake them, I believe, uses the posting key. And then in the hopefully really near future, we're gonna release the more granular ability to pick which exact transactions use the posting key and the active key to give you more control over that.
Beehiver, any initiative on another layer as Splinterlands, digital art NFTs with the collection-only purposes and not game utility? My answer is hopefully soon. I'd like to see Outposts combined with the Hive Engine is releasing today the ability to go create your own website using your own token and launching your own NFTs. I'd like to see that integrated with Splinterlands, and not for the in-game cards, but for like all the Digicon stuff that we do, for collectible cards, for some animations, for some stories, and for some lore. I think that all has a great future living on Splinter Talk and being used for and being bought and sold in that the Splinter Talk token. So I would say yes, there are plans.
Yeah, I just want to say, stop posting questions in the chat. It's already 10 o'clock. I want to go through and answer as many of the ones that are already there as we can, but not take any more.
What is the simplified model for SPS rewards for winning battles? Can we calculate roughly how much SPS a win at certain leagues would give us? So it's going to work. It's going to work like dark energy crystals. Do you have a ratio of how many dark energy crystals you'll win versus how many SPS tokens you'll win?
Not off the top of my head, but you should be able to calculate that. So it's published, the reward pool amount. It's like monthly, so you just divide it, to see how many FPS will be given out per day, and then you'd have to look at. It's a little bit of a complicated calculation, but it's basically, I guess if you look at how much dark energy crystals you get from a battle, and compare that to the total in the reward pool at the time, you can see what percentage of the reward pool you got, and then you can multiply that percentage times the daily reward pool of FPS token. So I don't have those numbers off the top of my head. At some point I can try to do some calculations for people if they're interested in that. But, it should be able to be figured out.
Yeah, I mean, Splintoshis are going through the roof, guys. We're up to 4,000. I guess you guys like what you're hearing. Okay, running out of questions here. Do you plan on having any more collaboration cards like the Heroes of Beyond? Yes, we love doing collaborations. It's tricky to go make them appear, but that's part of why I want to go hire people.
There's a question above that too.
Oh, what did I miss? I haven't connected a wallet in Splinterlands yet. Should I be concerned since the SPS drop is incoming?
No, you don't have to connect your wallet. I mean, if you want it to show up in the UI, nicely, it will need to have your wallet connected. That's your wallet. But as long as you control the wallet that has the assets, the SPS rewards will accrue to your account every day, and then you can claim them whenever you want. If you don't have to link it to your account.
Question: are there going to be released land cards at the? Oops, no, that's not what I wanted to read. Are there going to be released the land cards at the end of the month or the first few days of August? Yeah, we said that those are behind. There's several reward cards near print limit. Can we expect to see no new reward cards soon? Are we looking at September-ish for Chaos?
Yes, there's new reward cards starting to be worked on now. I think Chris Roberts is working on the characters for those. And we're looking at September probably for the pre-sale event for Chaos Legion.
What purpose do you see cards rotating out of the modern format? Will promos rotate out? Should we expect a new batch of reward cards with Chaos?
Well, so cards for the modern format, initially when Chaos Legion releases, the easy way to tell is just all cards that have the Untamed card frame or the new Chaos Legion card frame. So promos will not be included in that. And then some, the reward cards with the older card frames will not be in the modern format. The ones with the newer card frames will be. And then in the future, as new sets are released, we'll update the details on which cards are included and how to tell.
Okay. Question, can I play Splinterlands with just rented cards without buying a starter pack and earning DEC and get daily season rewards? You can play, but you can't get the rewards. You got to get the spellbook.
So the spellbook unlocks the rewards and the quests and stuff like that.
Will SBS be listed on Binance?
We can't say where it will be listed or not. I mean, it's our goal to have it be listed as many places as possible, and as soon as we have something to announce, we'll announce it.
Can we bring back Challenge where we can play Battle with Friends for packs or cards?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he means that there used to be kind of like a betting feature for the challenges. That wasn't really used very much, and there were some complications around that. So I think that stuff might have to be, you just might have to do that outside of the game itself.
$9 dice packs. Yeah, dice is definitely more expensive these days. Next AMA. I don't think I can record the next one on Friday. I'm going to be out of my office. Is there a time that we want to do it, or do we just want to skip next week's? We should probably still have it, because
next week will be a pretty important.
Yeah, that's an important.
My opinion. So
what time do you want to do it?
We can do it at like the regular 2 p.m. Eastern time if that works for you.
Yeah. Let's do that.
And then we'll figure out recording.
Send that here. Okay. This event. So we'll do it 2 p.m. Eastern on the 30th. And I think that's the last question. There's a stake PvP DE. I don't know what that means. I'm going to call it for today. Hey, look. So I don't know. Literally everything in this ecosystem is going absolutely bonkers. Dark energy crystals is trading 4 times over the peg. We took 3 years, 1 month to get to 100,000 users. We're at 130,000 after less than a month. 2 years ago, the cards on the market were worth 1.129 million. Currently, the market value of the Splinterlands cards is 36 million or so. It's like a 30x return in 2 years, or a 30x increase, I should say. I mean, just the games being played every day. We're at like 170,000 or more for a number of people battling per day. I think I might have missed it, but I think we're over 10,000 playing in the same day. Although Rafalski's site is currently down, and that's what I usually use to look.
Well, there's also a new dashboard on peakmonsters.com that was just released. So I put a link to that in there. It doesn't have a ton of stuff on there now, but they're gonna add more over time.
Transactions, accounts, daily average 10,043. So we're actually over 10,000 daily active players. That to me is amazing. We can see the number of new players registering, the number of spellbooks purchased. I like that little dashboard. So I don't know. Everything I track is going absolutely ape bonkers. It's crazy. It is hard to go do my normal tasks and keep up with all the news that's happening. This is an extremely amazing time for this company and for this community and for this game and this product. it's astounding to watch. So that's where I would end this. Matt, anything you want to add to that, or any thoughts you want to share?
No, yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. I'm gonna get working on the SPS stuff.
Sweet.
Make sure that goes well for next week.
All right, guys. Well, it's a pleasure to have you all here. Thank you for being part of this community. Thanks for sharing our game. Please go on to social media and tell people about us. Use the hashtag PlayToEarn. Use the hashtag Splinterlands, and let people know. Go on Reddit, go on Twitter, stream the game. If you want this place to get as big as possible. It really is not going to happen just because of Splinterlands. It's going to happen because of the tens of thousands of you guys that are out there helping to share it. So thank you all for helping to make this possible. Hopefully you're enjoying the ride as much as we are, and we'll be back next week, and we'll have SPS trading, and it's going to be wild. Should be fun. Have a good weekend, guys, and good luck in the Splinterlands.